So, boom, 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 boom. What's going on, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little Manchester United news video, daily roundup. And just make sure that Coca-Cola's out of the way. I hope you're all doing well today, guys. Thank you very much for getting in here for the news. We've got all the latest goings on at the club, Manchester United news, the daily roundup, daily rundown of all the goings on, and all the latest transfer news for you legends as well. So thank you very much for joining. We're going to get into all of it right here in this video. Do us a massive favor at the start of this video and smash that like button. Give it a thumbs up if you're in the live stream. Also give it a comment and get involved in the live chat. We want to hear from you guys. Get your opinions in throughout about anything we're discussing. And also if you're on catch up later watching this back, get yourself down below in the comment section and smash that thumbs up button. And subscribe too. Let's get into it, peeps. We've got plenty to get into. I want to say shout out to Cool Homies, Stay Clint, Christian Souls, Millwall, Madhouse, Eamon Barrett, Marco, J King, Chrissy J, Geordie Heaton, and every single one of you legends that's in here right now. Thank you very much for joining and getting in here. Do get involved throughout. It's a fully interactive show. We'll be dipping in and out the live chat. We have a big Q&A at the end as well. So do get yourself involved. Right, let's start off with the sort of main news I want to talk about tonight, which is reports coming out this evening that Manchester United are, in early discussions for the potential signing of Amadou Haidara from RB Leipzig. So let's just discuss this. Obviously, lots of different reports coming out, but here's one here. Whilst talks are preliminary stages, I'm told there is now an open dialogue between Man United and RB Leipzig regarding Amadou Haidara. This is from Jonathan Schrager an hour ago. And just basically, there's a few other reports coming out. Laurie Whitwell reporting that sources say Rangnick has expressed a wish for January reinforcements, particularly in midfield. He would advocate the pursuit of Amadou Haidara. So last few hours, lots of reports coming out, of course, that United have sort of reignited this interest from earlier on in the window for this guy. And talks have begun, in order to maybe get this transfer wrapped up. So look, we just need to get somebody in, don't we? I think it's plainly obvious. We have got an absolutely shite midfield. That's really quite clear to see. And it's not even necessarily some of the players' faults. Matic is a good overall player. Had a decent game for most of the game last time out. But when it came down to it, he's just a big, slow Frankenstein's monster. And so he couldn't get back to stop that pass coming in for their second goal. So, that's it. We just don't have the right personnel. We've got an aging midfielder in Matic. We've got a headless chicken passer in Fred. We've got a jack of all trades, master of none in Scotty McTominay there. And we've got Donny van der Beek, who is basically Donny van der Bench and never plays anyway and doesn't get a look in. So, we definitely have got problems in midfield. Oh, and we've got Paul Pogba, who'll be coming back into the side soon for a period of time before he goes. So, we've got a shite midfield. I think everybody can see that a mile off. We just need to get somebody in here. This guy seems like a good fit. Obviously, he's athletic, he's young, he's physical in terms of what we're looking for a Rangnick system. Rangnick's had that previous experience working with the guy or, bringing him in originally to the last club as a youngster. And then, obviously, he's developed, he's played very, very well. He's got himself to the point where a lot of different clubs are interested in him. It's not just Man United. Supposedly, Newcastle United and various other clubs are interested in this guy's signature as well. United need to get some reinforcements in January, otherwise we are going to fall even further away. I think that is where we're most weak, is the area in midfield. The defence, if you've got Varane and Lindelof, I thought even though they bottled it in key moments yesterday, for the majority of the game they did play well. I feel like that's not the worst area of our team. The worst area is clearly, the midfield position. Bring him in ASAP, says Oh Busy the Beast. Absolutely, lad. Sancho on right wing, plays on left wing. Marco, there's some humdingers out there, mate, my friend. In terms of tactics, what's going on, I'm not too sure what's going on in the last game. But anyway, January reinforcements, particularly in midfield, right? That's what we need. I would say, we should go and get a couple of midfielders in this window. We're not going to go out there and spend loads of money. United will end up being a cheap club and cheaping out. That's what we do. That's what we do in January, right? So we'll probably end up signing, I don't know, we were talking about Dennis Zakaria. That sort of interest seems to have cooled just a little bit. We know what Man United are like in the January window, though. We seem to dawdle. Look at the Bruno Fernandes signing. We didn't get it wrapped up until right at the end of the Jan window. That's the sort of thing that I'm expecting in this window. We might have a late flurry. I'm hoping that we can get something done sooner. We're already over halfway through the window now. It's absolutely a disgrace, in the words of Roy Keane, because what is going on? Why wouldn't we have tried to strengthen at the start of the window? You know, it makes no never mind, really. Okay, a club's holding out for a little bit more money at the start of the window. Well, they should probably get a little bit more money at the start of the window because you're getting him for an extra month. There's other clubs out there. You've seen it. Why can Aston Villa sign Luca Digne? Why can they bring in Coutinho on loan? Why can they do that? We can't fucking sign a £6 million Dennis Zakaria until right bang last day of the fucking window, if that is going to happen. Or Amadou Haidara, or Ruben Neves, or anybody else. Why haven't we actually been capable of going to do the business? It's classic Manchester United bottle job. The hierarchy of this football club don't know their ass from their elbow, really. They're not proper football people. I think that's the big problem here. So, yeah, in terms of like bringing players in an effective fashion, in a quick fashion, we're not really very good at that. And it takes a long time for these guys to do it. They're always crunching the numbers, bringing it down to, you know, just a financial basis rather than just looking at it from a football point of view. This is what our hierarchy do at this football club. So I think that's the reason why we're so fucking slow and gash and indecisive in this window. Really, what we should have done is already had a couple of players out, been willing to accept, you know, lesser money in terms of fees and wages and that kind of thing, just to get players out the bloody door and then be able to bring more players in. That's what we should have been doing in this window, but we've dawdled and fannied around yet again. So, but it is good. It is decent news, of course, that Amadou Haidara is again on the list for players coming in. Rangnick is understood to have very much an interest. I mean, you know, there's different reports coming out. You know, the Mirror, I always just, you know, read that on the toilet and then use it as toilet paper. But still, they're reporting that Rangnick has verbally agreed a £33 million fee with RB Leipzig for Amadou Haidara. However, Manchester United are yet to make a formal bid to the German club and could risk missing out on Haidara altogether. This was what's reported in the Mirror. So, you know, I mean, in terms of a verbal agreement, I mean, there's something maybe to that. Manchester United, we know that obviously we don't like to go in there for transfer offers and do public negotiations and all the rest of it. We like to sort of do get verbal agreements before we go in with a proper official bid and that kind of thing. And also £33 million. I mean, from what I understand, this guy has a release clause in his contract, which is somewhere in that region. So, yeah, I mean, if you're prepared to pay that amount of money, then sure, you can trigger that release clause and get this guy. But if not, you know, you might have to, you know, can offer a little bit less, obviously, and see if they'll be interested. But if he's got a release clause in his contract, then surely Manchester United can just trigger that and get the guy in. I mean, in terms of, is he good enough for Man United? Well, it's a big step up to the club. He's coming in from Germany. We're looking at his stats here. And, you know, he's scored a couple of goals this season. He's played 13 times for Leipzig, scored 2 goals, you know, played 4 times in the Champions League. You know, it's in terms of statistics, it's hard to say because, as I say, he's a central midfielder. You look at where he's playing his games, and most of his games in his career have come at central midfield, which are 139 games. He's played 21 at defensive midfield. He's played 9 at attacking midfield. He's even played 14 on the right mid, and he's even played 4 games over on the left mid as a professional. So, you know, he's quite versatile in the midfield. United could definitely do with a good box-to-box player that can bring the ball forward, that's comfortable on the ball, that can control the game, and just doesn't absolutely bottle it with the passing as well, because it's all well and good being a good, destructive player, but you also need to be pretty comfortable and confident on the ball to get us going, play that ball forward, and actually have a creative impact in the team. You don't have to be Paul Scholes, or, you know, you just want to be able to capable of getting the ball back and giving it to the players who are the creative players in the team, you know. So we just need somebody who's solid. He seems pretty damn good. So does, you know, Dennis Zakaria. These guys, there's a couple of players in the Bundesliga that are going for not that much money that United should seriously try and go and get. Yeah, Manny Snooflacky, how are you going to say this? As long as we don't overbid. Yeah, well, in terms of Haidara, I understand there was a release clause in his contract. We have to wait and see. But I think it's around 34 million. So that's what we heard. 40 million euros, something like that. So we might be able to get him for that sort of money. It's not a huge amount of money. He's not exactly done that much at this moment in time for his career. He's 23. He's a Mali international. I mean, just to give you some stats, actually, interesting game that he had against Tunisia in the AFCON. Obviously, it says Amadou Haidara won 7 out of 8 tackles versus Tunisia, 4 more than any other player managed on the pitch. So that sort of tells you, you know, a story about what sort of player he is. He is obviously a destructive player. He's somebody that can win a tackle, that can win you the possession back in midfield, press the opposition. He's quick, he's athletic, he's good in the tackle. So that is what we're looking for, really, and also somebody who's comfortable on the ball as well. So Amadou Haidara is a good prospect. He's 23. He's 24 caps for Mali, 2 goals. He's it's hard. It's really hard to say how he would adapt to the Premier League because we've seen lots of players coming from the Bundes and absolutely fucking bottle job it. But I think he would be. He can't be any worse than the shite we've got right now, guys. Okay, so I'm just going to say, smash a 1 in the live chat if you think that Manchester United should say spend £33 million on bringing Amadou Haidara into this football club in this window. Let me know. Smash a different number in there if you think, nah, who the fuck is that guy? And we're not interested in him. But let me know your thoughts and opinions. Just get your reaction from the fan base here. Madhouse says yes, and Jimmy, Dean, Chrissy, Leah Rose as well. Mark Coughlin says, Patricia says, yep. Paul says, yep. Philip Chapman's not interested. Vutinator, yep. Jimmy, yep. Manny says, who knows? So, I mean, in my opinion, why would we not get him in? It's not exactly a big risk. He's the right age. We've heard about what Rangnick has done, his experience with this guy in the past, bringing him previously, to his previous club, which was RB Salzburg, obviously. So, in 16-17, he came through RB Salzburg. And then he's obviously transferred to them for £550,000. You know what I'm saying? And then he's gone to, is that right? Yeah. Sorry, Leipzig to, RB Salzburg to RB Leipzig. So obviously both under the Red Bull umbrella there. It's just transfer one to the other. Basically, they're Austrian feeder club for the German team, if you see what I'm saying here. So what's happened is he's gone there. But you think about it, I mean, this is obviously Rangnick's had a hand in bringing him to that Salzburg club initially. He's got the understanding, he's got the relationship. For that reason alone, it makes it a very realistic prospect. If you've not got any relationship with a player, Ruben Neves over at Wolves or whoever, it's obviously hard to convince them to come or to have that initial understanding of what is expected or what's wanted from you, etc. These guys obviously have some sort of knowledge of each other, which is good. So I think, this is exactly somebody who we should be bringing in, but it's not enough, guys. It's still not enough. You look at our midfield woes. In my humble opinion, it's time to take action now, guys. United in a position where we've just got a bunch of bloody charlatans at the club. They're pretenders. They're not actually quite good enough to be United players. They're good players, but we're soon turning into a mid-table mediocre club if we're not careful. That midfield, all of them are great examples of that, because although there's world-class players in the team, that midfield is fucking Brighton standard, or even less, it's even less. We could do a Basuma, to be fair, it's even fucking less. Fred, McTominay, Matic, Donny, none of them are none of them are top tier. Tell me any of those players that would get into the best teams in the world sides. Which one of those players gets into Bayern Munich's team right now? Just think about it from that point of view, because that's really where we should be aiming. We're an elite club. Or at least we fucking should be an elite club. So how many of our players, would Donny get into Bayern's team right now? Nah. Matic, maybe 5-6 years ago, not fucking now. McTominay, don't make me laugh. Maybe occasionally. And Fred, well, Fred's good at certain things. He's usable, but, no is the answer to that question. So that's really what you've got to be saying. You've got to be looking at, why are United so bad? Why don't we go and replace gash players with great players? That's really what we should be doing right now. Is Haidara that player? Well, he's not reached the heights now, but in a few years' time, hopefully he could be that guy. Sean Collins says Phil Jones. Cool homies, thank you very much, cool homies. He says, smash a like for the pig. Thank you, cool homies. Yeah, we've got over 100 of you legends in here right now. Shout out to the sausage soldiers in the live chat tonight. Do us a big favour, hit that thumbs up button on the video. It's free. Give it a like. Help us out on the old YouTube algorithm. Boost us up there. And give it a share on social media if you want, if you're that way inclined. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, OnlyFans, TikTok, all the rest of it. Please do give it a share out there, my friends. And get yourself subscribed so you can chat in the live chat as well with every other legend in it. Let's get 100 likes on this stream. Let's be having you. So, we've got, he's a good player, guys. He's a good player in terms of what he can bring you. It's more of what we need, somebody who's good on the ball, but somebody who's very destructive in midfield who can win the ball back for you and is defensively sound. We've struggled at that. We've absolutely struggled at that. So here's another report as well. So obviously United haven't been making any fucking progress this January, but Rangnick is understood to be not too happy about the situation, really. He's quite frustrated. He knows that he needs to get a player in there, a midfielder, and this is what's being reported. He's becoming increasingly frustrated by United's refusal to move in the transfer window, basically, because He wants a midfield. He wants to be able to play this whole gegenpress system. I think the reason we're not playing this gegenpress system is because we haven't got the gegen players to do it. You know, we haven't really quite got the right guys to do it. None of them are perfect for that system in the midfield too. So that's where we need to get somebody in. It's obvious to see. Everybody can see it. I can see it. You can see it. We could all see it. Apart from Manchester United's board, who are fiddy-fanny and dilly-dallying around like they always bloody do, because they're a bunch of absolute bloody melters. Right, so reports coming out, yes, that you know, like I say, the Mirror reporting, but other reports coming to say that we've reached some sort of agreement, or verbally, with Leipzig for Haidara. I personally don't think this is the case. It's obviously too early to say. As we've heard, there's reports that United maybe started a dialogue to bring in Amadou Haidara. So that's the current situation, guys. With Amadou Haidara, it's positive stuff. You know, it's a step in the right direction, but it's not an offer. It's not a concrete offer. It's not a proper move yet. We've got 2 weeks left of this transfer window. If we don't act now, then we're going to get even further left behind than we already are. I mean, this current run of form, guys, you cannot accept it. We need to make strides to making this team better. And Rangnick has not had the best start, and I'm pissed off of his in-game management and all the rest of it, but he needs help. He's not got his team that he wants, and nor would he get his team because he's just interim, but he could do with 1 or 2 players in this Jan window to just sort of consolidate his position, just help him out, to just, you know, give him more of what he wants to do. I think that's key, and we're not talking about huge money here. We're also talking about other players going out in the opposite direction as well in this window and maybe getting money off the books, so it's really just a bare minimum of what we should do. We're in a crisis situation, and believe me, this is a crisis situation. For Man United to be where we are right now after the amount of games we've had, how far we off of first place, you know, how dodgy it's looking for 4th place, and just the squad to be playing the way it is and dropping results and playing the way we are, not the United way, all of that kind of stuff. It is massively concerning. And so for that reason, we've got to get back on track. Rangnick's got to win games. It's frustrating. We've got a really tough run of games at the end of the season. So Ollie had a really tough run of games and he got sacked off the back of it, right? And now we've got another really tough run of games at the end of the season. This is meant to be our easy run of games, believe it or not. So this is what's really frustrating. We know losing to Wolves and drawing with Villa and all the rest of it. It's an absolute calamity. I'll tell you what, that Brentford game Wednesday, don't know about you, but I'm squeaky bum timing already, peeps, for that one. I mean, crikey, just imagine if we don't get the 3 points in that one. And Brentford are no mugs. You know, they're decent football inside. I think I just see that's how bad it's got. I don't really feel confidence going into hardly any games right now. Just where United are, even though we've got the players, even though fucking Ronaldo gets paid more than fucking the whole of Brentford squad, even though we've got the players, just don't have the confidence in the team, a cohesive unit. So we've got to change. We've got to get better. He needs help to bring the best out in the team and to bring 1 or 2 players in that he wants. So yeah, and if you sign the right sort of players, then it's not a gamble, is it? I mean, I wouldn't give Rangnick the keys to, you know, go and sign fucking Haaland right now or whatever. But even though obviously that's a good one. But I mean, like, you know, just a couple of youngsters, a couple of good players who are up and coming, who are only getting better, whose, let's be honest, their transfer fees are only going to, their costs or evaluations are only going to increase. It's not really a massive risk for Man United to bring Amadou Haidara in for 33 million or Dennis Zakaria for 6 million. It's no risk at all for a big club like Man United. Okay, I'm just going to get into the live chat real quick. We've got a couple of super chats coming in there. Thank you, guys. Thank you for getting your thoughts in. Thank you, everybody, for getting your thoughts in. I'm just going to speak, get my thoughts and opinions out. We're nearly at 100 likes as well, guys. Thank you, every single one of you, for tuning in, getting in here. Do smash that thumbs up button. We're nearly at 100. Man United Hodge with a $5 Aussie dollar super chat, mate. He's getting in here from Dan Under. He says, hey, bro, I'm on holidays from work for 2 days, and the start of it was gash because we drew. And I only hope for a new signing in this window to sort this out. Mate, thank you so much for getting in here, Man United Hodge, one of our absolute dedicated Man United fans from Australia there, absolute legend. Yeah, I feel you, mate. That's it. We're just looking for a little bit of positivity right now. I mean, that was a massive kick in the love spuds yesterday, man. Like, you know, the way that we just succumbed to Villa. We had a 2-0 lead and we just bottled it. It was like watching me on FIFA, honestly. It was a proper bottle up. So, yeah, very frustrated, Man United Hodge. And like you say, one of the only things that's going to sort of give us a bit more confidence, maybe gives us a lift right now to convince us that we can change our current situation and fortunes and how we're playing, is if we actually do go in and dip in the transfer window to try and improve. Totally agree with you, Man United Hodge. Sort your bloody lives out. This United board want bloody shooting for not getting a player in so far. Honestly, I think it's a disgrace. 16th of January already, and we're just letting our team bottle it to bang average sides whilst playing with an absolutely lower lower Premier League standard midfield, or even fucking some may say Championship standard midfield. So it's really not a good situation, whichever way you look at it. United need to address it and get somebody in. Man United Hodge, thank you so much, dude. Thank you so much for getting in that super chat, dude. Man United Hodge with another $2 super chat as well. He says 2 weeks. Sorry, my bad. Hey, no worries. Let's get a double sue in the chat there for Man United Hodge from everybody in the live chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for getting in here, boss. Right, okay, let's just see what your guys' reaction is to Amadou Haidara, and let me know your thoughts on it. Do you think it's realistic? Do you want him? Or do you think we should put our eggs in a different basket? Let me know. Kingslayer comments, Haidara and Zakaria in. They can't be worse than what Man United have at the moment. Yeah, that's very, very true, mate. True. We'd have to go and get like Kettering Town's midfield to be guaranteed something worse than we got right now, dude. This is a proper shitter of a midfield, dude. Let's be real now. You know, we're talking about standards. We're talking about standards recently of Cantona, Keane, and all these guys. Fucking hell. Man, oh man, the midfield is nowhere near the standards of the midfield we've had in the past with players like, you know, Keane, Scholes, Nicky Butt, or fucking Fletcher, Carrick even, you know, nowhere fucking near. This is absolutely rough. So, yes, mate, definitely, you know, we've got to get new players, and I think you're right. Yeah, thank you, Blizzard Down. Calso says, I think we should go for a player like Kamara. Anchor, destroyer type player to really help out the defense and pass it out from deep. Calso, I love that comment, mate. Yeah, so you're talking about Boubacar Kamara over at Marseille, right? You know what I like about him? His contract's running down. He's not that expensive. There's talks of maybe about £12 million you could get that guy for. He's young. He's only 21. He's going to have a good future in terms of being in the national side as well, and also, you know, just being a good player in the next few years. Again, not a gamble. That's not a risk for a club like Man United, you know, to bring in a player for £12 million who's probably going to go on and do good things. It's just not a risk. It's just not a risk. When you've got players like Tony Martial on £200,000 a week at Manchester United, not even being asked to turn up or play, apparently. You know, we're going to get into that in a moment, but we've got all the latest on that anyway. Obviously, he did train today and stuff, but yeah. So, but when you've got that, it just doesn't seem like a risk to me at all to go and get somebody like Boubacar Kamara in for £12 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is definitely a good deal for anybody. So, yeah, United should just do it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of players that are sort of hanging on at clubs looking to get a better deal in a free transfer Bosman move in the summer. And that's cool, but United could just pay a little bit more money now and get some of these players in. The same situation could be said, obviously, for Dennis Zakaria over at Mönchengladbach. This guy is available for not very much money. They're going to lose him in the summer for nothing. And unless they want to do that, they're going to have to accept 6, 7, hell, call it £10 million, and we'll snap your hand off. But Man United, on the other hand, we're just bottling around as usual. I don't know what we're doing. If we want to get this guy, we've got to act quick and get in there before anybody else does. But in terms of Kamara, in terms of Haidara, what we need, you know, we want box-to-box midfielders. Box-to-box midfielders who can also who can defend. So, you know, we want people who are strong and defensive, but we also want people who can create as well, get the ball forward, move the ball forward, who are quick, who are physical, who are athletic, who can create as well, but also destroy. We need a good all-round midfielder, is what I'm saying, you know, rather than what we got right now, which is nobody's perfect for that type of player that Rangnick wants. I think he wants just like a call it an Ndidi type player, Wilfred Ndidi, or maybe even a Kante type player, you know, somebody who can win the ball back but get you going forward as well, who's good on the ball. So that's the sort of player we need. Obviously, we're not going to get a player of that standard because, you know, there's not many Kantes around, but certainly we're looking towards more that sort of player than what we've got right now. Leon H, how you doing there, boss? Stefan Antonio as well says everyone should have Phil Jones pink boots. You're not feeling Haidara or Zakaria. Phil Jones shouldn't even have Phil Jones pink boots. You're not feeling Haidara or Zakaria. You would rather go for Maxence Kakarel or Bruno Guimaraes at Lyon, says Jarvis Cocker. Well, if we're actually talking about who we actually want, who I actually want would be not either of these players, to be fair. It would be players that are already established in the Premier League. Like we talked about Ruben Neves, but players like Wilfred Ndidi, you know, they're all wishful thinking and they're not that realistic because they play for opposition teams and they're expensive. And obviously these teams want kind of compensating. But, you know, in an ideal world, we'd be going for people that are proven in this Premier League to do well. Because it's always a risk when you're getting somebody from a different league that they're going to come over and adapt well and just fit into the Prem. So, yeah, that's my only concern there. Neves and Haidara in, McShite, Donny and Matic out, says Leah Rose. You see, if it was that simple, I wish it was that simple, honestly do. Because we could do with getting a few midfielders in and a few midfielders out, in my humble opinion, yeah. I mean, which of our midfielders is good enough to be at Manchester United, really? Like, as a starter? Never mind a squad player, because probably they all are okay to be backups of squad players, rotation players. But who's actually good enough to be at Manchester United as a starter? And don't say Paul Pogba, because Paul Pogba is injured right now, but also he only turns up about a third of the time. I would say yes, 1/3 of the time Paul Pogba, but 2/3 of the time, no. Now, so there you go. So what is, you can't really choose him because he's just too inconsistent. Donny, he's we don't know, I suppose. I suppose the answer is we just don't truly know, but from what we've seen so far, I'm not blown away. And then McTominay, he's got potential, he's got the fight and the ability, but he's bang average, to be fair, if we're being totally honest. He's not the top tier standard. Paul Pogba says Madhouse, only Bruno, says Paul. Yeah, and I'm not even really including Bruno in this conversation because I see him more of a CAM type player, really. But hey, Mr. Els, thank you for getting in here, my friend. Thank you. I really appreciate you getting in here with your Bacon Brigade highlighted member comment there, my son. Thank you very much for being a channel member. He says, top man, love your channel, pig. Keep it up. Get in there, Mr. Els. Guys, can we get some L's and love hearts in the chat there for Mr. Els? Appreciate you supporting the channel. Thank you for being a member, dude. And everyone, let's get a hashtag 2 months in there as well. For Mr. Els, thank you for being a member, bud. I really appreciate you, dude. Get in there, get in there. Chrissy J, great comment, says, I'd go for Bellingham. Yeah, in an ideal world as well, that's another one. If we could get anybody realistically, he's not that realistic because the money's quite a lot, but we should go and get this guy. Yeah, he's 19. He's a star already in terms of an England shirt. He's already in the setup, and he's doing really well over for at Dortmund. I totally agree with you. The only concern is, well, look at Jadon Sancho. I mean, Jadon Sancho has not exactly hit the ground running. People are saying Scamcho. People are calling him fucking Scamcho. My opinion is Jadon Sancho will come good. I think, let's have a vote on Sancho. Smash a 1 if you think Jadon's going to be a classy player for United going forward. Smash a 2 if you think, actually, he's fucking Scamcho and we've been scammed out of 73 million quid. Let me know. Be honest. Let me know. I personally think it's so early doors for the guy at United that it's hard to say. I think he'll go on. He's got a lot of abilities about him. In fact, if you look at some of the performances recently, they've not been terrible. He's not had that many opportunities. He will be really good, I think. I think he's going to be really good. But we have to be honest and say that so far, what is it? I think he's played like 14 games or something. He scored a goal. Don't think he's got any assists. I could be wrong, but it's not exactly been mesmeric stuff. Now, the team has been gash around him, and that's probably a big factor for it. Ollie was definitely misusing him as well when they were bringing him in and playing him on the left, and just the team was gash and it wasn't working for him. He probably had the worst possible start he could have had at United. So it's only up from here. But also, you've got to be real and say that so far, he just hasn't really done it like we hoped. But it's not necessarily his fault. But then, you see Coutinho coming in and getting an assist and a goal. Because I saw it going around social media that his stats, he's got more goals and assists now. Or he's got the same goals and 1 extra assist than Sancho. And Sancho's played only 14 times. So whichever way you look at it, he's not had a good start at United. But it's so early. He's good player. He's got all, he's got all the abilities. And above that, I think he has got the right mentality. I think he's the sort of player that's trying to better himself, that's trying to develop, that's trying to be professional. I hope so anyway. I mean, I think that's the reason he left City and went to Germany in to begin with, and why Jude Bellingham's done that too. It's because it's a great place to go and develop and play rather than just sitting in the youth team, sitting in the reserves and barely playing in the first team because they've got a team full of Galacticos, prima donnas on huge money, and you're not going to get the game time to develop. They've gone and done it the hard way. Go to a foreign land, play football, get your game time, break your way in a good team and stay in there. So I respect both of those guys for going abroad, because you don't see it often a lot these days, and to develop in that way. And I think that it's helped them. Blizzard Down says Paul Pogba is all marketing. Yeah, I'm with you too. Reece GG says you can say who is good enough to be a Manchester United player, but I think we need to reevaluate what that means nowadays. Unfortunately, the levels have dropped and it takes less to get in the team. Reece GT, it's a good point. You can't get away from it, lad. I mean, the standards of Manchester United have dropped massively, right from the ownership down. It's rotten from the top to the bottom, mate, sadly. I couldn't agree more. The standards are just not the same as they were. Man United Hodge, thank you for another $5 Aussie dollar super chat, mate. Get in there. He says, to think we could have had Fabinho, but we chose to bring in Matic. My God, this club is run by a bunch of jokers. What a bunch of drongos, mate. I know what you're saying, bunch of bogans. No, seriously, Man United Hodge, they are useless, aren't they? They've had a nightmare, dude. I mean, in terms of, Liverpool scummer and bringing Matic, I mean, I think Matic has been a decent player for Manchester United, but right now he's old. He's 33, and he's just, you could see in the last game, he's just a little bit too slow for the Premier League now. You could see that. That's why we conceded one of the goals. It's not that Matic wasn't busting along trying to get back. It's that he physically was just a bit too slow, and he's just a little bit off it now. It happens to the best of players. Everybody slows down, and him being a tall man, that was always, the slowdown was always going to be quicker. He's like the Tin Man, and he's oiling up, dude. 8 likes off of 100. Keep smashing that like button. Who's going to be that 100th liker? Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, smash that subscribe button as well. Get yourself involved in the chat here. Man United Hodge, thank you so much for that, boss. And Big God Bob getting his highlighted member comment in there. Thank you so much for the member 9 months, dude. Hashtag 9 months. I really appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the show. He says, limited freedom of speech on this channel. It doesn't represent the true voice of real fans, says Big God Bob. Who are you talking about? Limited freedom of speech on this channel doesn't represent the true voice. I don't really know what you're talking about there, Big Gob, to be honest. If you're saying there's limited freedom of speech on this channel, I mean, this is obviously me speaking. So if you're talking about everybody in the live chat, you can say what you want as long as it's not abusive, in which case you're going to get sacked off, obviously. But yeah, I mean, obviously, freedom of speech. I say what I want. I'm free to say it. So I don't really understand what you're saying. Big Gob Bob, unless you're just talking about being a disgrace in the live chat, mate, in which case everybody's got to get dealt with for... But you can say what you want in terms of football opinion. Stefan Harringtonio, thank you for that odd comment there, Bob. Scancho is going stick now, says Stefan Harringtonio. Getting stick. Sorry, you say. Yeah, he is getting stick. He's getting a lot of stick because he's had a lot of games and he hasn't got the stats to back it up. But it's so early, and as I say, he started in a really bad Man United side, being utilised wrong by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on the wrong side of the pitch, and he just didn't have a very good start to it. And still, even now, it's a massive struggle for him and the team in general. It's not just him, it's the team. And if the team was actually a well-oiled machine and he's just slotted in there, he'd probably be banging the goals and getting the assist. If the team's playing well around him, imagine if this guy was coming into like a well-oiled Fergie team. I'm sure he'd be absolutely fine. It's just the fact that the overall team is so bloody clueless and he hasn't been able to shine much himself, but he's done some good stuff individually. Right, okay, guys, so if you're just joining us, the biggest headline really tonight is Manchester United... There's reports by various Mickey Mouse outlets, I suppose you could say, that Rangnick has agreed a fee, essentially, or a verbal fee of £33 million for Haidara. But realistically, the news is just that Man United have begun maybe initial talks with RB Leipzig regarding Amadou Haidara. So just initial conversations of interest, initial statements of interest, basically. Man United and Rangnick understood to be really interested in bringing Amadou Haidara in. That is the current situation. So pretty interesting stuff. Sources say that obviously he wants to get a January midfielder in, and he would definitely be interested in bringing in Amadou Haidara. So that is the current situation there, guys. A good signing, I think, but obviously it does depend on, what you've... it does depend on who's available and how much money we're prepared to spend. Like, he's not the best person we could bring in because he's coming in from a different league. It's not exactly proven, but he's also definitely a decent signing. Can't be worse than the shit we've got right now at the club, eh? He cannot be worse than that. So yeah, that's my opinion on it. Anyway, so I'm going to get on to the next news, guys. So there it is in terms of Haidara. That is that. Before we get on to a bit more transfer news, I want to talk about this. So obviously, this is what was basically said. Sorry, Rangnick had said, Tony Martial yesterday when he was asked about the Tony Martial situation. Rangnick, there's some quotes from him where he basically said he didn't want to be in the squad. So asked when he wasn't playing, obviously yesterday he wasn't in the squad. This is from Simon Stone from the BBC. He said he didn't want to be in the squad. That is the reason why he didn't travel yesterday. You know what I mean? So, that's what Rangnick said. Yeah, that's what Rangnick said. He didn't want to be in the squad. That is the reason why he didn't travel yesterday. I mean, that's fucking absolutely disgusting, isn't it? If that is the case, then he should never play again for Manchester United and we should sell him and get rid of him immediately. Because that is disgusting. He didn't even want to be in the matchday squad and, and he didn't want to travel or any business like that. Ralph Rangnick says that is the reason why he didn't travel. But let's just give him airing here. Let's just give him airing here. Right, you're going in time out there, Big God Bob. Thanks for the £2 though, but no, they're not. We've got great mods and you need to sort your attitude out, pal. Right, okay. So let's get into it. We've got this about Martial. So obviously Martial hit back last night. Was it yesterday sometime on social media? This is what he had to say. He said, "I will never refuse to play a match for Man United. I've been here for 7 years and never disrespected and will never disrespect the club and the fans." So this is what Martial said in response. So who do you believe, guys? Who do you believe, guys? Let me know in the live chat. And also, of course, you've got Tony Martial rocking up for training, pictured leaving training, I should say, today. Carrington leaving Carrington. So it's not like he's not involved. It's just obviously, he has said this. Who do you believe, guys? Rangnick or Martial? Let me know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Patricia O'Driscoll, when we get midfield players, our forwards will come into the new proven quality, says Patricia O'Driscoll. You would hope so. We have got really great forwards we have got really good players, obviously, in the forward positions. And that is the area of the team that I'm not too worried about. If we can get the midfielders behind them and players to perform in those areas in the midfield to create, then obviously, we're going to be much better as an overall creative team and an attacking team because we're actually going to be able to fucking get the service and the ball to those points in the key areas, man. So I totally agree. Like that if we actually had a really good couple of players in that holding midfield, it'd make such a massive difference to the team. It would also make a massive difference to how good we are at defending against teams because, if you've got a good destructive midfielder who can sit in front of the back line and win that ball back for you and it's just not easily beaten, that can make a massive difference to just conceding goals. And not only that, you win the ball back, you get the ball forward, you're creating chances and you're getting right at them. So yeah, I totally agree. It is much the key area of the team that we need to strengthen. So the Saint said, Martial said he never refused to play. He said nothing about refusing to be on the bench. Right, okay, fair enough. Well, this is it. Hey, Piggy, whose side should we believe, Martial or Ralph? I mean, no, I don't want to disrespect. Martial's been in, like he says, for 7 years. He's never disrespected, will never disrespect the club and the fans. That's what he said. I mean, I personally think he's already done that with his agent coming out recently a couple of months ago and saying that obviously Tony wants to go, he's not happy and he's not getting game time and all the rest of it. And if they don't get game time, he's going to have to look for a new club in January. I think that was quite disrespectful. I know that wasn't directly from his mouth, but surely he's privy to that. He knows what's going on, obviously. Yeah, so I personally think that was the first sign of disrespect. Just a bit more on Tony Martial then, guys. So, just in terms of about this situation. So, I mean, we've got some opinions here. James Ducker of The Telegraph says, everyone knows he wants out, but he's still a Man United employee and he's paid £200,000 a week. The lack of professionalism, saying he didn't want to be in the squad. He should never play for the club again. So another person obviously thinking that he shouldn't play for us again. I agree. I personally agree. If that's true, what Ralph Rangnick has said, if he didn't want to be in the squad, if that's true, I'm not saying it is, but if that's true, then he shouldn't play for United again, because that is just so unprofessional. Rangnick did say that, he didn't want to be in the squad. He said he would have been in the squad normally, but he didn't want to, and that was the reason why he didn't travel with us yesterday. That's the full quote. So that's pretty piss poor. And also, The Athletic giving us some more information on the background of Tony Martial. Basically, apparently in pre-season, he turned up like 3 days late to the start of training when everybody was supposed to report back to Carrington. He's 3 days late. It reads Martial, he missed 20 games through injury across 5 different issues last season. The last of those was a knee ligament problem. That's another thing about him. He's pretty injury prone, But anyway, tends to enjoy his own space, went away from Carrington, but a lack of dialogue across several weeks on the occasion in the summer was said to cause frustrations among staff. Martial sustained the injury in March, did not report for pre-season until July 17th. Sources say this was 3 days later than scheduled, but United insists Solskjaer gave us permission. So Solskjaer giving us permission to turn up late, but is that actually the case? And we just didn't want to say that in terms of getting a PR shit show that we've got no control over the dressing room. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that is possible. And I just think in terms of attitude, in terms of professionalism, he's not got the right attitude and he's not professional. His consistency is a problem on the pitch, but also, his agent coming out and saying that stuff and just it's just not. He's clearly not professional. You're looking at this situation, and he looks like he's an unprofessional man from my situation, from my position. Right, okay, so let's just get into the live chat, see your thoughts on this Tony Martial situation before we get on to the next topic. Do us a favour once again, if you're getting in here, smash a like on the video, leave a thumbs up, do hit that subscribe button on it if you haven't done so. If you're new to the channel, hit the sub. Have your say, obviously, and let's get in there. Tell me what you think about this Martial situation. I'm going to just duck into the live chat and see what you guys think over the next few minutes. Eddie's Football Waffle, what's going on, pal? He says, if Ralph is lying, maybe the club has propped him up to do it. Glazers are evil. Wow. Interesting there, Eddie. I didn't really think about it. Why would they lie? Why would he lie about that? I don't really understand. Why would he lie about that? Unless he's just doing the whole Jose Mourinho mind games BS. In which case, you know, that's not really on, because Martial, like you quite rightly said, has played for this club for 7 years. But the Saint says, you know, it's Man United FC, not Martial FC. Stefan says, I don't think that's disrespectful if he says he wants to leave. Players leave for all kind of reasons. Yeah, but you can have the conversation behind closed doors. So this is actually what Ralph Rangnick, so this is what happened. So his agent released it in the media that he wanted to leave, right? And obviously, you know, Rangnick's just come in, and he said in one of his press conferences that, you know, it's in his opinion, it's not the way to do it in the press, and you know, you can talk about these things behind closed doors, which I think is absolutely true. You know, if he's professional, he can go and knock on the manager's door. He can say, "I'm not happy. I'm not going to play anymore, and please get me a new club. Please find me a new club." That's it. You know, but you don't have to do it in the media first. I think that's what's really really weird about it, is they just dropped it in the media sort of out the blue. That's how I found the situation anyway. So it's, of course, there've been a little bit of talks about Martial going for a while, but yeah. Madhouse says, Ralph, don't leave these prima donnas for Ten Hag to sort out. Yeah, Stefan says, if you aren't happy personally, it isn't good. Yeah, I mean, I understand. No, I understand. He's got the right to leave. Absolutely, he's got the right to leave. If he's not happy, if he's not being played, and he's not being played, it's not like over the last, 6 months, he's played much football for Man United. He hasn't. I get it. But you should be taking care of this business behind closed doors, in my opinion, not in the media. Leon, that's a fair comment. He says it is probably that Martial didn't want to go up there and sit on the bench, as Rangnick said, matchday squad, but Martial said he never wouldn't play for Man United, says Leon. Right, yeah. Fair enough. Well, still, that's crap. That's crap. Why, you've got to go and sit on the bench then. Don't you look at Donny van der Beek? Crikey. I mean, he's thrown his chewing gum out a few times, but he's still there. He's still there, like ready to play, ready to go. That's what you got to do. You might be called upon. It might be an opportunity for you to come on in the 89th minute and score a fucking cracker wonder winner and get the 3 points and just completely rewrite everything you've done this season. It could be a chance for that. So if it's just the fact that he didn't want to go and sit on the bench, that's even more piss poor. I hate that mentality. You're getting paid $200K a week, for fuck's sake. Mate, I'll go sit on a fucking metal bench in the middle of Antarctic for 90 minutes for fucking $200K. You know what I mean? I mean, crikey, never mind all the nice plush fucking racing seats he's got to sit on. So I think it's piss poor. I think it's piss poor whichever way you look at it. 200 grand a week, do your job. As Roy Keane was saying, do your job. That's your job. Your job's to turn up and be available. That's your job. Whether or not you think you're going to play, whether or not you think you should play or not. You're professional and that's your job. Do it. Imagine that, guys. Imagine if you fucking, I don't know, who works at, let's just say you work at Sainsbury's, right? Imagine that, by the way. You just phone up Sainsbury's, you're like, yeah, I just don't really want to, I'm not going to turn up. I still want you guys to pay me, but I'm looking at moving to Tesco's, you know what I mean? In a few weeks' time, hopefully you guys are going to let me go and I can go to move over to Tesco's. It's like, hang on a sec, Sainsbury's is going to say, well, just fucking do one now and we're not going to pay you, you're not going to, what are you on about? You got to turn up for work while you're still here. You're not on gardening leave. Fucking turn up. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't add up. Anyway, right, okay. So, yeah, exactly, Pig. At least put it on the bench. That's right, J. King. Get on the bench. Martial's never hit the heights promised and every single manager has not fancied him, says the Saint. Nicholas says, Martial's been crappy from time. Does not impact the game in any way. He can go, says Nicholas. He's available. He isn't getting picked, says OHB. Yeah, he's not getting picked, but you've got to do something to get picked. Jarvis Cocker comments, Martial's splitting hairs. Yes, he didn't refuse to play, but he didn't want to play. Well, that's fucking awful then. He didn't refuse to play, but he didn't want to play. Well, fair enough then. I mean, that's it. It's splitting hairs in terms of refusing to play. That's it. If you don't want to play, if you're like, yeah, I don't want to play, manager comes over, you up for playing? Nah, not really, boss. You know, that is not, it's different. Hey, Haroli, what's going on there? Good evening to you, mate. I hope you're having a good night. Thank you for joining. Guys, we've hit over 100 likes on the stream. Thank you, everyone, for smashing the like button on it. Do hit the like if you're just joining. Get involved. Your opinions in the live chat are much appreciated. Obviously, be respectful. Be respectful to everyone. Everyone's allowed their opinions, though. Get your thoughts and opinions in about the current situation with Man United, Rangnick, who we should bring in, Martial, and all the rest of it. Christy J says, imagine being a United player and posing in a rival shirt. Yeah, Lingard done it. Too many players taking the piss out of this club, says Chrissy J. Yeah, that's it. Posting Instagram messages, Instagram stories of him scoring goals, celebrating goals for West Ham while he's a Man United player. Get them the fuck out of our club. I agree, man. It's time to go for these guys. They've obviously been United players for a long time now. Neither of them have reached the heights that we wanted them to, and it's time they both went. I agree with that, man. They're being disrespectful at this stage. Whether they mean to or not, Jesse Lingard, by posting a picture of him celebrating a goal for West Ham while he's not at West Ham, I can understand it while he's on fucking loan last season. No, he's at Man United right now. He's posting a picture celebrating as West Ham. Piss off. You can't do that. Can't do that. And Tony refusing to play, it's just unprofessional, isn't it? Yeah, Big God Bob. Well, I mean, I don't know really what to say, mate. Give me a message on Insta or something, mate. But can't have that sort of insult in the mods and stuff like that. Mods do a great job here. Love the mods on this channel. If you don't, I mean, that's your bad problem, unfortunately, mate. So yeah, but yeah, just keep it out of the chat, mate. Patricia O'Driscoll says, I wonder who picks team. Is it similar to Ollie? Says Patricia. Well, so far it's Ollie Ball 2.0. Dilly Hill says, I'm worn out with United at the moment. All negative stuff on and off the pitch. Mangeko, Sharingan, there's a lot of distraction in this club, but we won't forget the real problems of no tactics and zero midfield. It's going to take Ralph time to address this, I think. It wasn't going to be an overnight thing, but it'd be nice to see some progress. Thank you, cool homie. Says, smash a like for the pig. Appreciate that one, dude. Luthando got Giannis says, Ralph's statement has sank Martial's value. That's an interesting point of looking at it, actually, dude. That's it. Who wants Anthony Martial now? He's super unprofessional by all accounts. That's what people are saying. Turning up 3 days late for the start of the season. Gallivanting off, not wanting to play games. Come on. But yeah. So there you go. I don't know if we should have kept Ollie Millwall. I mean, I don't know if we should have kept Ollie. We're in a bad way, losing to City, Liverpool. Like we were a shell of a team, man. I don't think we were really. We weren't progressing under Ollie either. That's the problem. You've got to find somebody who can actually progress under and make progress. That's the word. Right, let's cover the rest of the news, guys. Then I'll get into the live chat for a Q&A. So Anthony Martial takes part in Man United training after furious response to Ralph Rangnick. Obviously, he did post that outburst, if that's what you want to call it there, as you can see, on social media. And he did train today. He was pictured leaving Carrington at 5, whenever it was in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, 2:30 p.m. He stopped his car to take photos with fans waiting outside the complex's gates. This is what's reported. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of is he getting his head down and just doing the bare minimum? I think that's what it is. But refusing to play and then also just not having the right attitude to play are two different things, but they're more or less the same. So maybe he didn't never say, oh no, I'm not playing for you now. Maybe he didn't say that, but maybe just his overall body language, his enthusiasm, his commitment is the reason why Rangnick said, he didn't want to play. Maybe that's the realistic situation. Maybe neither of them are lying. Rangnick said he didn't want to play. That's why, which means I believe he didn't want to play with how he was behaving, with how he seemed, with how he responded, whatever it may be. That's what I think he means. And what Martial means is I never refused, meaning I never said, no, I will not play. It's just that he's basically had a bad attitude and Rangnick has said, no, he didn't want to play, basically. That's what it is. And so, yeah, I suppose that could have an effect on people being interested in signing this guy. Yeah. So, Manchester United have not made a bid for Dennis Zakaria yet. So we're talking about Dennis Zakaria, but it could happen before the window closes, of course. Borussia Mönchengladbach looking to cash in because they could lose him on a free. They're sort of they're resigned to the fact they're going to lose this guy, obviously. So if I was them, I'd rather get 6, 7, maybe 10 million if you can. for him right now instead of losing him in the summer for nothing. So we have to wait and see what's going on there. But it does look like that deal could still be alive, but it's just likely to happen towards the end of the window. That is the thing. But he's also apparently Laurie Whitwell reporting, from The Athletic, that Dennis Zakaria has not convinced Man United scouts of his long-term suitability, even if his transfer value is reduced due to his contract expiring in June. So that's what The Athletic reporting, that United scouts have had a look at him and we're just not very interested in him, apparently, in terms of long-term sustainability. Maybe it's due to injury concerns. I don't know what it is, but no, I think it's just an absolute no-brainer to bring this guy in because he's dirt cheap. And yeah, he might have had an injury problem a couple of years ago, whatever, and he struggled to get back to his best since then. But he's 25. He's got the best years ahead of him. He's physical. He's good on the ball. Can carry the ball. More of what we need. And he's so cheap. Like, it doesn't really make any sense to not gamble on him. It is a little bit of a gamble, sure it is, but it's not a big gamble. It's not a big gamble. Just buying a lottery ticket, basically. What the fuck? It's not. It's a big gamble. Sorry, it's not a big gamble. So there you go, Dennis Zakaria. Apparently, that's what's reported, that Man United have had a look and we're not that interested in long-term sustainability. This is what's reported by The Athletic. I personally think that's BS, just because, why wouldn't we be interested at that price? It can't be any worse than the shit we've got now. Fabrizio Romano gave us an update on Dennis Zakaria on his Twitch channel, and he just said many clubs are looking at Zakaria. Manchester United appreciate the player, and he's on the list, but it's still not decided if they're going to make him a signing in January. So that's basically the situation as it is, really. There's talks of an interest there from Man United, as there is for a whole host of other clubs. We've heard almost every other bloody club, even Liverpool being linked with this guy, and Newcastle, and just lots of different football clubs being linked with this guy, because he is very cheap. He's a cheap player. You can bring him in more or less immediately in January for just a small amount of money. So why wouldn't you want to go for him? There's a lot of clubs into him. So that's the situation, really. But it's probably going to be a thing where it happens at the end of the window, realistically, It's probably what's going to happen. Okay. Southampton have made an inquiry about signing Dean Henderson this month, says MUFC MPP. As well. That's a little bit of an update there, but then Jonathan Schrager, who also gave us that update on what's his face, Haidara earlier, is saying that he's told that basically Southampton are extremely unlikely to sign Dean Henderson from United this month, so because they've already got a few goalkeepers, obviously. So, there's talks of Dean Henderson going in this window. We know the situation there. There's even reports and talks that he's leaking team news and all that stuff out there. He's leaking all the team information out there, guys. He's the mole. We got fucking Hans Moleman in the dressing room there. Dean Henderson, get him out the fucking club as well, if he's moling it. You know what? Honestly, I think that's bollocks, to be fair. I think that's just absolute newspaper guff, in all fairness. Why the fuck would Dean Henderson be leaking team news out to, different sources and all that? It's just bollocks, I think. I think it's bollocks, but there you go. Maybe he is the mole. But either way, he shouldn't be at United right now either, for his own personal goodness, his own personal well-being, and his own chances of getting into the fucking World Cup side. What is he doing? Why is he here? And for that reason, I think he leaves this January window, because, man, what's the point of having him here? He sits there and collects 130k a week, $500,000 a month. He's I guess he's not a depreciating asset, but his contract's obviously going down. You could cash in on him, generate good money to strengthen the team elsewhere, and get good money off of your books. So for that reason, the fact that we just don't play him, he's played 2 times, I think, for United this season, or is it 9? I don't know. It's one of the two. Either way, it's like, what is going on there? Get rid. So there's some reports that Southampton are interested in bringing him in on loan or in some capacity. Other reports saying that it's unlikely that Southampton are going to go for him. But just new fresh links with Dean Henderson. I would like to see him go, personally. Smash a 1 in the live chat if you think United should just go, you know what, see you later on, Dean. See you later on, Mr. Moleman. It's also just it's nothing personal. I actually think he is a good goalkeeper. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. And I like the fact he's English, homegrown, all that sort of stuff. He's a good goalkeeper. Problem is for him, he's got big David De Gea in his way, who's a better goalkeeper, who's in his prime, who's more experienced, who's Man United through and through, who's been here over a decade, bleeding red for Man United. That's fucking Dean Henderson's only problem. It's not that he's not a good keeper, But if he wants to be a great keeper like De Gea, when he's De Gea's age in that sort of position at a club and be a great keeper, then I'm sorry to say he's going to have to go elsewhere because United's not the place for him. He can't play second fiddle to David De Gea all this time. He's just going to end up like Raymond van der Gaal. Bad House with the one, the Saint with the one. Nah, says Nicholas. Dean should stay, says Nicholas. Okay, so a few twos coming in. Dean Henderson has too much ambition to be number 2, says the Saint. Well, yeah, he should do. He absolutely should do. Yeah, he's good enough to play for a good standard team. I honestly think like most teams could do a lot worse than Dean Henderson. He's a very good keeper. We could do a lot worse than Dean Henderson. It's almost like one of those. We want to keep him because he's good to have around for if anything happens to David De Gea. And also, De Gea in a few years' time when he does leave, if he does ever leave, then Man United, would be very well set with a 28, 29-year-old, 30-year-old Dean Henderson, who's had good development over the years. Maybe it works for both sides just to loan him somewhere for the time being. Literally load him around for a couple of seasons to good teams where he's going to play, and then he can still develop, he can still get that experience, and then one day when David De Gea does go, you could loan him, you could get him back. But in my opinion, that's just too long-winded and unlikely because David De Gea could still be Man United's goalkeeper in 5 years. So for that reason, it doesn't quite add up. For that reason, we just got too many people in here in that position. We need to get rid. So for that reason, you've got to be ruthless, even though Dean's a good keeper and he could be our number 1 in the future. He could be our number 1 now if David wasn't here, but he is. So for that reason alone, you've got to make the decision. You've got to make the change. You've got to get rid, and you've got to be ruthless. So that's my opinion. Do us a favor, guys. We're nearly at 150 likes. Smash the like button. Get involved with your thoughts in the chat. We're going to have a Q&A in a minute. But before I do, I'm just going to talk about 1 or 2 other little links. So we are linked to Brighton defender Tariq Lamptey. Apparently there's interest here, different reports suggesting that because of the situation with, Wan-Bissaka being a little bit ropey at the moment, and also, Dalot, have we got enough there is the question. And different reports saying that we're in the market for a new right back and we've got a strong interest in Lamptey. He's supposed to have a valuation, England under 21 international, supposed to have a valuation of anywhere up to 40 million, which seems pretty ridiculous, but he does have 3.5 years left on his contract. But he's a good player, he's an exciting player, obviously. I don't know. I mean, I just don't think it's a priority for United right now. It's a link. Maybe it's one for the summer. Maybe it's one for the future. But it's not one that's going to happen in January. I wouldn't have thought so, because why would we spend big money on a right back right now? It's just stupid. So there you go. Don't think that's going to happen but it is a link maybe for the future. I wanted to discuss it. Also, Laurie Whitwell reporting that Jude Bellingham tops Man United's wish list in midfield, with Declan Rice also ranking highly, and those are deals that could only happen in the summer. So again, big money moves, just backing that up, really not going to happen in January. Just the small money, cheap moves going for United in January because of our board of unambitious melts. And that's basically what we're going to have to wait for until the summer, when hopefully we could do some big business in the midfield. I don't really want Declan Rice personally, but Jude Bellingham does sound, for me, like a great signing for the future. I'd rather us go and get him and another midfielder who's proven in the Prem as well. Declan Rice wouldn't be bad. He would be a good signing, but for not the amount of money that they want, nowhere near. So yeah, so that's the situation there in terms of, a couple of summer signings and links still there. Eric Bailly suffers a head injury in dramatic Ivory Coast AFCON draw. So he had, he got 2-2 draw with Sierra Leone, and he withdrew from the game after suffering an apparent head injury. So I don't know the extent of it. He's probably absolutely fine, but, hopefully it doesn't stop him. If there is, because there's talks of him still maybe going to a different club this January. That's maybe fallen apart. We'll have to wait and see. There was just talks of loans. And obviously, when it comes to Man United players, our players are usually on quite decent money. So, are these teams willing to pay that money? All the rest of it, there's lots of things that it can fall down on. So we'll have to wait and see. But Bailly still might be going somewhere this January, or maybe he won't. Realistically, we don't need that many centre-backs, especially with Phil Jones coming back into the fold and doing bits. So I don't think we really need him. I think that's not really the area that's one of the areas where we should look to get rid of somebody. Right, guys. Okay, so I'm going to get into the live chat now, everybody. There's 188 of you legends in here. We're nearly at 150. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Appreciate you. Now's the time. It's Q&A time, baby. Let's be having you. Get your thoughts and opinions in about anything we've discussed in this video. Have your say. Do get involved. And, thank you very much for being a part of the show and supporting the show and sharing it and smashing the like and getting in there. Right. Let's have a look at all your comments. Hey, Tactician Tom, my brother from the same mother. He says Bellingham 100%. Definitely agree with that. Yeah, definitely agree with that. He's already sort of lighting it up, on an international stage as well, but certainly for Dortmund. And he's only 19. I mean, it's pretty impressive. And he's a central midfielder. I think it's harder to do that as a youngster in the engine room of the team. You might be, a great whippersnapper winger on the side, effective, beating people your pace, getting balls in and stuff like that. But actually doing it as a youngster, controlling it box to box, all that sort of stuff, I would say he's brilliant. The Saint says Rice's quality. Yeah, he is a very good quality player, but £90 million? Come on, we could spend that £90 million so much better on the rest of the team, I think. So Rice plays the West Ham way, says Millwall. Philip Chapman says, I have supported this club since 1966. We used to be a Rolls Royce of a team, but at the moment we're a reliant Robin, dude. Yeah, that's it. We're a reliant Robin. It's funny you should say that, mate, because I feel like we got fucking Del Boy, running this club right now, in all fairness. A bunch of bloody, wheeler dealers, man. That's what we've got, in all fairness, mate. They're just looking for dirt cheap items, aren't they? It's like, let's be honest, Amadou Haidara and Dennis Zakaria, they're the equivalent to a Siamese cat figurine that plays the fucking, how much is that doggy in the window? You know what I mean? It's like some cheap tat. No disrespect for those guys, but you seen as you brought up the Reliant Robin reference, I'm going to go with it. In terms of the quality, United aren't going for top quality players at the moment, sadly. Do you remember even when David Moyes was here, right? Even when David Moyes was here, we signed Juan Mata in January. What a great signing that was, by the way, at the time. Think about that. Think about that in January. We didn't do jack shit in the summer, did we, apart from get fucking Marwan? But we did get Juan Mata in January. 30-odd million, was it? I can't remember now. But either way, he was like their player of the season, the previous 2 seasons before that for Chelsea. Like, that's a proper signing. Like, these signings, Haidara, I like him. I think he's going to be good, but he's not fucking, it's not like a proper established beast. In all fairness, especially somebody coming into the Premier League with Premier League experience, that's massive. Same goes for any of the other midfielders we've discussed in this video, such as Boubacar Kamara or Dennis Zakaria. They're all good players, and they've all got great prospects and futures ahead of them, hopefully, and they can develop. But they're not like monster signings that have got that Premier League experience, that are huge names, huge money that are coming in. We've already done that, I suppose, in the summer, though, in all fairness. I mean, we've already done that in the summer. But I just think for January, we could... No, why couldn't we just splash 40 million and get Ruben Neves? That's what we should be doing. Getting Ruben Neves would help us out, and we'd have somebody that can just slot in there. And, he's got that track record of playing every single game for Wolves in the Prem. He's a good player, can control the midfield. Instead, we're going to take a cheaper gamble on a foreign league player who may or may not do well. So that's just where my head is at with United, where we are unfortunately, like you say, we're not looking for Rolls Royces at the moment. We're shopping around in the bargain basement. Mangeko Sharingan says, can we just see Haidara to start in the UCL just like Coutinho played for Villa? How do you mean? Can we just see Haidara to start in the UCL just like Coutinho played? Oh, right, you mean how he's playing for RB Leipzig or what? You mean, sorry, if we can bring him in and play him in the Champions League or if he'd be cup tied, right? Well, he's currently at the Africa Cup of Nations, isn't he, anyway? So there's question marks about when and how this could be done, but maybe towards the end of the window. Vincent Bullock says, as someone who goes and watches the team big, I think Marsha has got to go. We need to CDM, we need some bloody better owners, says Vincent Bullock. Spot on, mate. Yeah. I mean, fucking Glazers, mate. I couldn't agree more with you, lad. They're absolute shite. So yeah, we should have gotten Coutinho, says Kingface. I mean, I don't think so, mate. He is a good player, but he's a Liverpool scummer, mate. Ex-Liverpool scummer. Although he is a very good player, but he's not necessarily what we need right now anyway, man. Like, that's not the problem area of the team. We need defensive-minded midfielders, like holding midfielders, to replace those gash midfielders we've got in that too. Patricia O'Driscoll says, at this stage, we might get midfielders on loan for the time being. Piggy says, Patricia O'Driscoll. Yeah, we might get midfielders on loan for time being, Piggy. Who? I guess we could, but I can't really say. Who on loan? I just don't know, really. I mean, I guess maybe we could. There's a lot of players that of our players that would go out on loan. So maybe we could do a deal, somebody coming in the opposite direction, bit of Kessie action or something. I don't know. Anyway, yo, Disco Dave, what's going on, mate? Good to see you. Good to see you. 133 as well, bro. What's going on? Doubt you would have came United. He's loyal, says 133. You need Paul Scholes, says Millwall. Right, okay, so that's basically, so for everybody getting in here, basically that's it. That's the news. So we've got talks potentially underway for Amadou Haidara. Their open dialogue between Man United and RB Leipzig is underway. Other sources report that Rangnick's expressed a wish for January reinforcements, and he will advocate the pursuit of Amadou Haidara. Some other sources saying that there's even a £33 million verbal agreement in place already. So that's the biggest news. And also, just in regards to Tony Martial, Rangnick, they're still... Rangnick said that Tony didn't want to play or want to be in this squad, and Martial's straight outright denied that, as you can see with that statement, which I'm going to get rid of now. Let's get into the live chat then, guys. It's Q&A time. I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes, have your say. Actually, let me just check out the latest Rushmana update. My bad. All right, okay. So there was one more story here. Thank you, Rushmana, for sending this through. So apparently, there's apparently Phil Jones. If there's reports coming out that Man United would want somewhere in the region of £15 million for Phil No Bones Jones. What? I mean, I don't know. I kind of like Phil now, guys. I think that performance he put in the other day was really good. It was a good performance, and he showed a lot of heart. And I'll take something like that over a Slabby Maguire who shows no heart and fight and desire whatsoever half the time. So, yeah. But £15 million for Phil No Bones Jones, who's proper injury prone and just been out in the doldrums for a few years. That's probably a little bit too much. But I don't even know if we should sell Phil Jones. I think there's other options we could, he could actually, he's got the potential to be a decent player as a backup for a few seasons. We know he'd be happy doing that because he's been doing that for fucking 10 years. Also, another report has come in. Thank you, Rushmana, to suggest that maybe Barcelona are looking at a few players, including Alex Telles. So I very much doubt that United are going to sell Telles anytime soon, because I think it's good we've got the depth there. But let's just say in the future that Luke Shaw cements himself as Ralph Rangnick's #1 left back, then probably Telles might get the hump and might not want to play. Right now, they're both sort of playing 50-50, and I think it's suiting them well. There's that good competitive edge between the players as well. Like, obviously, they're wanting and fighting to play and start in the next game. So that's really good. Ralph Rangnick's got a good balance there with left back and even the right back position with Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. So I wouldn't want to upset that. I wouldn't want to get rid of anyone. But yeah, Barca, I don't think they've got a pot to piss in anyway. Okay, so... But apparently they are looking, they are looking at left backs in the market who could arrive on loan until the end of the season. So that is one source we've got there that suggests that they are looking for left backs who could arrive on loan. Okay, Telles' offensive is better, says Mangeko. Yeah, let's have a two. I just want to ask you guys about those two things we just said there. Then, so how much do you think Phil Jones is worth in this current market? How much is Phil Jones worth? I mean, come on, you can't ask for much more than 8 to 10 million. Actually, maybe he can. Let's be honest, if he went to a good mid-table Premier League team and was actually played, he'd probably be a good player. Could probably have the potential to do a Johnny Evans. Look what Johnny Evans done over at Leicester. He can maybe go and do a Johnny Evans. And so, maybe 15 million is the amount. But I don't see how you can ask for that, just because he's so far removed from being a consistent player in the Premier League. He's played once in, 707 days, or even more now. So, yeah. 5 million max seems to be the number in the live chat here. He's injury prone, yeah. Good point, Naz. Red Devil says 3 to 5 million tops because he's always injured. That's a very great point. Oh, yes, Luthando got Yana. He says, you're so right. Let's forget he's on 80k a week. Isn't he on 100k a week? But even if he's on 80k a week, that's way too much. So you're right. Because of his price tag, that's going to put potential buyers off, isn't it? Primot says Small Don left for 4. So Rupert Meadow, thank you very much for the 10-month member highlighted comment. Get in there, my son. Thank you for supporting this show for 10 months, Rupert Meadow. He says, who do you think our manager will be in the summer, and do you think we'll get Champions League? I think we will get Europa League, says Rupert Meadow. Who do I think our manager will be in the summer, and do you think we'll get Champions League? Honestly, I think we'll go for a change of personnel in the summer. I think Rangnick will go into the consultancy role. To be honest, that was what was prearranged anyway. We know that. Rangnick was only in here for a 6-month job. So it's unlikely he stays. The only way he would have stayed on is if he's really done really well, which I don't know if he's going to do that for United. I hope he does, but I don't know if he's going to. My gut tells me that we'll get a different manager in here in the summer. In terms of who, well, at the moment, unfortunately, it seems like maybe Pochettino is top of the list, or there's Ten Hag. I would say you couldn't really go wrong with choosing Ten Hag out of the two of them, because I like his style, what he's done at Ajax, and maybe what he could bring to United. But it is a big step up against a huge club at United. Poch, I don't really like. I know his Spurs team played good football, but not a proven winner. He's doing stuff over in PSG right now. Nobody cares. Fair enough. Win everything. So you should. So I don't like either of them. It's not, I don't like either of them as our manager. But I mean, who I would like, maybe, you look at someone like Nagelsmann, but he's just not available. I still think Manchester United's problem is that, if there was a Klopp type manager, after he's left Dortmund, that sort of manager available at that sort of time, or Nagelsmann before he's gone to, to Bayern, it's like, if there's something like that, then make the move, get the guy in. But if there's not, then it's kind of like you're just accepting, again, mediocrity. You're kind of just going for somebody who's not exactly the right fit, and that's just kind of wrong. In a way, you'd have been better off just sticking with Ole Gunnar until, the right man does actually become available, because right now we're just chopping and changing. There's no consistency. It's a fucking shambles. Poch says the Saint. Bielsa says Madhouse. Ten Hag as manager says Naz. Well, let me know in the live chat, guys. Who would you like to see, Ten Hag or Poch or anybody else? Vincent says Phil Jones is on 140k a week. Well, there's some debate and discrepancy about it. I heard he's on 6 figures, so that would, I heard he's on 6 figures a week at least. So yeah, Rupert Meadow, by the way, thank you so much. And he also said we will get Champions League. I think we'll get Europa League, says Rupert Meadow. Right. So where we will finish, do you think? So in terms of will we get Champions League football next year? Dude, I can't say yes with a proper belief behind it, mate. We're probably going to shut the bed. I don't know. I hope we can snag 4th place, mate, and get in the Champions League. The other way of getting in there is to win it. Well, I'm not convinced this team can do that right now. So you never know. We'll have to wait and see. You heard United were looking at Simone Inzaghi or whatever his name is on Nepal 420. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been linked with a bunch of other managers as well. That's Filippo Inzaghi's brother, isn't it, Nepal? Yeah. Piggy FIFA tonight, says OHB. Yes, mate. AR Dan, thank you for being a member for 16 months, lad. I really appreciate you for supporting the channel for 16 months. Come on, guys, get a hashtag 16 months in there for AR Dan. That is big. He comments, Pig, I raised Rupert's 10 months with my 16. I hope next season will be better. This season is a season to forget. Mate, thank you so much for supporting the channel for 16 months. That is mega, dude. Thank you very much, guys. Celebrate Mr. AR Dan there and his crazy channel membership length. His crazy length with a massive soo in the live chat. Thank you so much there, AR Dan, for supporting the channel. That's kind. Very kind. Shout out to his Bacon and Egg Brigade member, AR Dan. Much love, dude. Chrissy J says apparently Sporting Lisbon managers high on our list. We're fucking linked with every manager in the world, aren't we again? It's a shit show, dude. Fucking watch fucking Rafa Benitez get spinned and fucking watch him be linked to us, mate. We're going to be linked to every mother chuffer, dude. I can't stand it. I hate that whole managerial merry-go-round bullshit. That's the one thing I will say about Ollie 1 or 2 years ago. Not in this current season because the stability wasn't there and it was just like Ollie in, Ollie out every single fucking other week. But a couple of years ago, man, it felt so nice just to have Ollie as the manager progressing the team, finished 3rd, then finished 2nd. It was like, yeah, it wasn't perfect. There wasn't trophies, but we were progressing and there was stability. I felt like, yes, this is a project. It's just like fucking, it's so unstable right now. There's little clicks in the dressing room. Slabbing Maguire's our captain. He's gash. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? If he plays, he's going to get the armband. We've got pockets in the dressing room. Older players like Ronaldo saying the younger players are not listening. And you've got players like Martial refusing to play. You've got, it's just a fucking nightmare. This is not a cohesive team. Whereas a couple of years ago, it felt like we were a good unit, we're a good team, and we're all pulling together. Now it feels like everybody's fucking pulling in every which way direction but together. Yeah. Rupert Meadows says if we don't get Champions League, we will not get a good manager. Come on, this job's a massive job for anyone. As long as it's not that Brendan Rodgers prat, I'll be happy. Well, actually, I'll take that back. It depends who it is. Ollie did get a 2nd, to be fair. Yeah, that's right, 133. Don't discredit him entirely. You would like the Wolves manager, says Rupert Meadow. Fair play, what bit of Bruno Lage accent. Vincent Bullock says whoever comes in to manage to do the job, we struggle because we've got Harry Maguire for him. Your interpreter, because not everyone can speak the language of fridge. Yes, mate, exactly. That's the problem. They've got gash players in there. We do need better players. Mangeko says just remove all the midfield players. They're the real problem of United. It's a graveyard for managers, says Sim. Toughest job in the world, mate. Proper poison chalice job. I honestly believe it. Pressure cooker, knocked back properly by the owners. Lots of very small time to work with. Got to perform. Got to get results. It's not easy. It's Coca says Ollie good player, shite manager. That's harsh. I'd say Ollie great player. Decent manager. If I'm being honest, I'd say great player, decent manager. But yeah, he's not a great manager, is he? He didn't win anything for United, but he still did decent and got third and second, and there was progression for a couple of seasons until it all shut the bed. LYM Pexiadia says, my honest opinion is that the players aren't really fit to provide such competitive games as they've all been let to do what they want for so long, and top four is in question mark. Yeah, good point there, Lim. Good point there, Lim. You know, the bunch of melters, I mean, they actually fitness-wise looked dodgy towards the end of that last game. And we have no Premier League games from 22nd of January until 8th of Feb, says Eamon Barrett. Bloody hell. That Scottish geezer Lex Chapman ain't bad or international break, is it? Yeah. Read last comment, says Rupert Meadow. The Wolves manager is very good. They have one of the best defensive records. He's a very good attacking manager. Yeah, but people used to say the same, you know, in terms of like the previous Wolves manager who went to Spurs. I think, well, Nuno. Why the fuck? You know, look what happened at Spurs. Like, you know, would you want that guy in now? Maybe you would have wanted him straight from Wolves. That's why Spurs went for him. But you wouldn't touch him now. It's like, I don't know, mate. There's not enough proven track record there for me to go, yeah, he's the one. Let's get Wolves as manager. You know what I mean? David Hum says, why are you calling Brendan Rodgers a prick, says David Hum. Because he's an ex-Liverpool melter. That's why. Is that enough reason for you? That's good enough for me. But anyway... No. Fair enough, David Hum. Maybe he's a wonderful human being and a really nice guy and just a beautiful man. No. Listen to the guy. He's a decent manager, but he's not good enough to be Manchester United manager. I'm sorry to say. He's not good enough for Liverpool. He's not good enough for United. And he's also managed Liverpool, which means he can't manage United. There you go. What about Keane as manager? Nah, not got the managerial chops or experience, not proven. Unfortunately, as much as he talks a good game, he's managed Sunderland and Ipswich. He's not ready for that United job. He's got to go cut his teeth, get some success elsewhere first. Just like anybody. You can't just have the link to the club. You've also got to get the job based on merit. Which, you know, okay, maybe Solskjaer didn't do that, but originally he got the job as an interim, remember. He wasn't offered the job permanent to begin with. He was just taken over until we could get somebody. But he actually won 10 games in a row when he first came in and then got the job, if you remember. So that was a slightly different scenario. But yeah, he'd not done anything, obviously, beforehand, just managing Cardiff, getting relegated and Mulder. But anyway, Rodgers talks like very young professor, says Robert. Adam Partridge says, what do you think Potter at Brighton, mate? Plays good football. Luthano says, Merson said we should be getting Potter. I mean, yes, he is a good coach, but again, it's such a massive step up to a club like Manchester United. I wouldn't feel confident going to get Brighton's manager. What do they know about Champions League competition and all that sort of stuff that goes with it? You need people who have been there, you know, maybe not as players, but certainly there as coaches, certainly people who've been in those proven scenarios of winning major things. I think United shouldn't settle for anybody less. You know, I hate to say this, but going in hindsight, maybe for the short term, I'm not talking about long term, but maybe for the short term, you know, like Jose came in and had success with us. Jose, short term, bad long term. But for the short term, maybe for the short term, you know, Antonio Conte would have been the man. You know, I didn't want Conte at the time. Defensive, you know, negative, whatever. He's certainly not a Glazer manager because he speaks his mind and all the rest of it. He's fiery. I don't think he's a Glazer's manager. But in hindsight, like, you know, he would have actually probably galvanised the team a little bit. He would have had the bollocks to say, slapping to Maguire, get out, you're no longer captain, and all that kind of stuff. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. But there you go. Anyway. Right, guys. Okay, so we've got 8 likes away from 150 likes. Smash that like button on it. If you're just joining, hit the like. Let's get 150 before it ends. I'm pretty much going to wrap this video up in a second, but Napalm420 says Jose was shit for any term. I don't know about that. He was actually good to begin with, but you mean like a long term? Oh yeah, he always leaves a club in a shit show, doesn't he? I agree with that. Always ends in tears for Jose Mourinho. He is a great coach initially when he comes in. Usually he steadies a club. You know, look at Chelsea. Chelsea's a fine example. Both times, especially the second time, he come in there. They've had success, but then guess what? He's lost the dressing room. They've turned to shite, and he's been sacked off in disgrace. So, yeah, and then the same sort of thing happens. It usually happens most clubs. I think he leaves them in a bit of a shit position, but there you go. Hey, Devils United, how are you doing tonight? Great to see you, Maisie. What's good? Thanks for joining us. Get in there. Absolute legend there. Hope you're good. Lamondre says, what's happening with Pogba? He's still injured, dude. Yeah, he's still injured. Probably just seeing out the January window here. I imagine he's leaving in the summer to PSG, but you just don't know. Who knows? Man United might bottle it and sign him up to a new contract just because they don't want to release or lose an asset, which they could obviously get more money for in the future, maybe if they were to sell him. But that involves signing him up with a huge deal. It involves dealing with Mino Raiola, that absolute grubby agent who fingers pies all day long. And, he's got his grubby little fingers in so many grubby little pies. It's like he's just in it for the money. And if United want to get Paul Pogba signed up, then we have to spend a lot of money, agent fees, signing on bonus, and increase wages, which for a player who's bang bloody average doesn't make sense. Okay, yeah. Love the Chelsea manager. Would you mate, says Adam Partridge? I mean, if he wasn't Chelsea manager, if he was maybe available, but he wasn't Chelsea manager, then, maybe. But, Tuchel has done a good job there. But, nah. I don't know. Again, I want somebody who's more of a right fit for United. Rupert Meadows says the Wolves manager is very good, one of the best defensive records, a very attacking manager as well. He would link well to Bruno and Ronaldo, and he could attack Neves. I mean, I see your point, Rupert Meadows. I do see your point. That's a similar reason why Spurs went and got Nuno, who is Wolves' previous manager, because he was doing that with that team. But look what he did at Spurs. Doesn't mean that Bruno Lage could come to United and do it well at United. It's a massive step up. Just like Potter, Brighton's manager, you expect Potter to go in there and win us Champions Leagues. It's a fucking massive step up, dude. I still think he's a good coach, and I think he's a good prospect, but he needs to work his way up the ladder. You can't just go from Brighton to United or Wolves to United, to be fair, in my opinion, unless you've done something pretty spectacular. Moises Amount says Naz. John Shepherd, Pogba is waiting for Man United to buy Tchouaméni, then he may sign. He wanted them to sign him back in October. Well, he'll be waiting a bloody long time then, John, because United aren't signing any bastard. Never mind Tchouaméni at this moment in time. Well, we probably will do at the end of the window. We've talked about it. There's Haidara. Talks maybe underway now. There's also Zachariah, cheap deal. I would sign him because he's dirt cheap, maybe happen end of the window. Kamara, a few other guys, a few other cheap options. So we might see somebody come in. But I don't know about Tchouaméni, lad. Although he has been linked to the club, and we should be interested in that sort of player too. JMUFC says once Ronaldo retires, maybe Ronaldo for the job at some point. I could see him being a boss manager in the future. Yeah. Pogba to PSG will complicate it, seeing as his father and himself supported their biggest rivals, Marseille, says Luthando. Interesting, wow. Okay, yeah, but money talks and bullshit walks, especially when Mino Raiola and Paul Pogba are in the discussion, mate. Devils United says Moise. Give it Moise to end of the season. He got the job at a technicality of a legend who recommended you. You are nothing. You are a fool, and you are a waste of time. Good night. Vinny Bullock says, can someone please get Bill Murray in to deal with the mole in the club? Only Ten Hag young player expert, says Madhouse. Yeah, that's it. Doing it on a cheap budget, developing players, bringing them through. Ten Hag playing exciting football. What they've done so far in the Champions League this year is very impressive. Luis Enrique would do a great job, says Limpex area. Yeah, could do a lot worse than him as well. I agree, LYM. We could do. We got a bunch of options, mate, in the summer. Let's see what Rangnick does between now and then. I'm not confident that he stays after this 6-month interim position. I'm just not. John Wayne, how you doing there, boss? Hope you're doing good. Guys, let's have a vote on that quickly before we wrap this show up then. I'll just ask you straight up, do you think Ralph Rangnick starts the next season, the 22/23 season in August? Do you think he starts as Man United manager? Yes or no? Let me know. Will he be gone by that point? Will somebody else be in here? Or will we actually stick with Ralph Rangnick? Will Rangnick take us into the next season? Or is he just going to be an interim and just step away into that consultancy role, which has been pre-planned? That is the plan as of right now. So yeah, no, says Naz. No, says Dave. No, says Andrew. Yes, says Johnny. Good evening there, Talk MU. How you doing there, boss? Great to see you. No way, says 133. No, says Red Devils. No, says Patricia. No, says Adam. Okay. So do a poll, says Rupert Miller. I don't really think I need to do a poll, Rupert. I think it's pretty definitive. Nobody thinks he's going to be manager next season. A couple of people. But, I mean, I have to agree. I'm in the boat where I think after the start we've had, he's going to have to more or less go perfect, really, to get us anywhere in near the top four. Or, what my worry is that this is supposed to be our easy run of games here under Rangnick now. This is the time he was supposed to use to get the results and develop the side and progress us. We haven't progressed. In fact, we're just losing games like against Wolves and drawing against Villa and just gash results and gash performances. We're supposed to be doing well. We've got Brentford coming up. That's a big worry now. Even that game's a worry. So, that's not a good place to be in. And then going into the end of the season, that's when our run of really tough games again. And that's when you're playing the likes of City and Liverpool again and Chelsea and all the rest of them. You've got to play those games towards the end of the season. So, man, that's going to be tough for us to finish the season with a really tough run and get top four. So he needed to win a lot of these games now. in order to like get top 4 and maybe have a chance of getting the job. It's not looking good for him right now. Hey, G-Wolf United Gaming, thank you for the £2 super chat here, boss. He says, I want to say thank you to the Bacon Brigade, hashtag let's fight depression. G-Wolf United, my man, thank you so much for that. And absolutely, I hope, sending love to you, G-Wolf. He's got the vid. I hope you're feeling okay though, G-Wolf, my son. He's got the COVID, and absolutely, depression is a motherfucker as well. Absolutely, hashtag depression out. You know what I'm saying? Let's kick depression out the heat. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much, G-Wolf. I appreciate you, dude. Much love. And yes, let's send love hearts to G-Wolf. And anybody that's struggling with, depression is a very real thing, obviously. And we all go through it. Some people are, affected more, obviously. Some people have episodes. Some people don't have any depression whatsoever, in which case you're a lucky bastard. But I totally respect what you're saying there, G-Wolf. Let's get some love hearts in there. And shout out to the Bacon Brigade. What a community of legends. Devils United says, I would prefer Ten Hag, but I think Poch will come. Yes, I think so too. Poch looks like he's the most likely in the driver's seat. I actually totally agree. I think we should go for Ten Hag, stylistic-wise, and maybe just like project-wise, what he could do over a period of years. But Poch, yeah, I think he's just a perfect yes man for the Glazers right now. Perfect yes man. Perfect somebody who can do something on a budget too. You have to say what he did at Spurs. Didn't spend a lot of money, but did develop and create a good team there. Ralph just has to get the points now. It's true talk, MU. Yep. That's it. Time for results. Kingface is a Benz, a chick magnet in the UK, says Kingface. Depends which one really, Kingface, mate. I mean, like, Mercedes-Benz, you've got an old one. They're like granddad mobiles, man. I wouldn't say it's a chick magnet. Maybe if you're like a 65-year-old OAP down at the golf club or something, lad. I wouldn't necessarily say that it is. Tristan Cayley says, with a $4.99 super chat, thank you for getting in here, boss. He says, something that isn't being talked about is that Zachariah could also replace Slabhead at centre-back. He might not be the answer at DM, but he's a talented player. Tristan, I like that. I like what you said there. Thank you for your comment. Yeah, he has played a number of times at centre-back over his career, so he could be used there as an option. Primarily, he's played as a defensive midfielder, so he is a defensive midfielder, but he can play at centre-back too. You're absolutely right. So that is another good reason to sign him. I mean, I don't really foresee him personally being a centre-back for us. I think we'd be signing him to help out in that holding midfield role. But he can drop back into the back line. He can act as a defender. And he can also, if we need to, if there's an injury issue, we've got to shuffle things around, he can also start there. So, yeah, I agree. Magnus says, Ronaldo is the only player with a winner mentality, says Magnus. Yeah, definitely. That's why he's so pissed off at the moment, because he's seeing a bunch of melters around him. Why get Ralph Glazers? Why get Ralph Glazers are a shit show, says Mark Harris. Well, who was available at the time, though, boss? There wasn't that many great candidates. What they wanted is just somebody to take the pressure, the flack off the Ollie situation, and get somebody in just as a temporary situation to be a temporary Ollie, pretty much until the actual manager comes in the summer. But I guess they didn't want the backlash of sticking with Ollie and all that negativity that was surrounding it every single week. So there you go. Even though in hindsight, and let's be real, if Ollie had it, I'm going to ask you this question in the chat real quick, guys. Okay, answer it honestly, and maybe I'm wrong. I'll tell you my thoughts, but let's just say this. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had stayed as Man United manager, if he'd continued, if he was not sacked and he was still here to this day, do you think Man United would be better, worse, or the same sort of situation as where we're at now? Let me know. Because in terms of worse, I don't think it could be that much worse. I think it's pretty bad losing at Wolves and drawing at Aston Villa and dropping a lot of points and playing and looking disjointed and playing a similar sort of style. I don't see how it could be much worse. Maybe it could be the same. Maybe it wouldn't be any better. I don't think it would necessarily be any better, but maybe it would be better. But it'd probably just be the same. But all I'm saying, the reason I'm saying that is because, well, what was the fucking point, really? What was the point? AR Dan, thank you very much for a cheeky little 50. Ron, you are getting in there raw. Thank you, Dan. He says, G-Wolf Bud, just get better. Money and women chase away depression. And I wish you these after you get corona out of you. Money and women chase away depression. Are you sure women chase away depression? Depends which ones. AR Dan. He says, I wish you these after you get corona out of you. AR Dan, thank you so much. What a nice super chat there, bro. Thank you very much for that. AR Dan, I appreciate that. And once again, let's get some wolf head emojis in there for G-Wolf. Oh, much love, G-Wolf. Sending love your way, bud. Impossible to say to one a sane problem, says Disco Dave. Yeah, Devils United says, I believe we would be in the same situation. Whatever manager we have doesn't change the players, doesn't have any winning mentality. Yeah, exactly. That is a very good point. You see the new manager coming in, playing the same guys, selecting Maguire, well, up until recently, selecting the midfielders, McFred, etc., doing the same stuff. So you're right, the players there, same old personnel, same rubbish, same mentality, hard to work with. But yeah, I mean, Ollie in the end, maybe we should have just stuck with him a bit longer. I know it's easy to say. The same, says Rupert Meadow. Better with Ollie, says Big Bear. Worse, says Pavel Brick. The same, says Philip Chapman. No, says Nicholas. Better with Ollie, which says Talk MU. Wow. The same, says Nas. The pressing, says Robert Zerzi's right. Okay. Yeah, Ralph Racket's a professor of football. He's more competent than most managers in the world, and we've learned that it's not the manager, it's the players. So please give the man a chance. Here, I agree, Jarvis Cocker. He's got until the end of the season, as far as I'm concerned. You know, he's got until the end of the season. Can he persuade us that he's the right man to be here at the start of next season? I don't think so, but I hope so. G-Wolf United Gaming, much love, my man, much love. Hey, Zane, the LFC fan, how are you doing? Thank you for subscribing. Hader, Haddy, appreciate you, Hader. We're a worse team now than the past 4 managers, says Philip Chapman. It's Cam 12 says worse. Give Rangnick more time, says It's Cam 12. Cody Oda says the same. Hey, Geordie Lewis, thank you very much for the 179 super chat there, boss. He says, FIFA tonight, pig. Yes, indeed, I'll be doing FIFA in a little bit, man. In fact, I'm going to have to get off this stream right now, Geordie, because I've just seen the time. There isn't enough hours in the freaking day. Right, guys, so I'm going to wrap this one up then. Thank you so much, you all, for tuning in. Thank you for that one, Geordie, as well. Appreciate you. Do smash that like button on it. If you haven't done so, do smash the thumbs up on it. Get your thoughts and opinions in. We're not going to ban him for saying that, Naz. I mean, I didn't even see what he said. Did he say depression in? I mean, it's just a stupid joke, isn't it? It's a crap joke, and it's not funny. But depression out, definitely. But also, you know, he's not going to get banned for saying depression in. You know, it's just a silly joke, mate. anyway, that's it from me. Maybe he means the manager. Maybe he means that Argentine manager, mate. You know what I'm saying? Roberto Depression. Maybe that's who he means. Anyway, right. Okay, good night, everybody. I'm gonna wrap this stream up here then. Do smash that like button before you go. We're 5 away from 169. See if we can get it. Smash the like on it before you go. It's free. Once again, you know, it helps us out. There's a bunch of clickbait merchants on YouTube, a bunch of corporations sat in their ivory towers posting out clickbait for you to suck up. So if you want to help the independent person, smash the like on the video. That's all we ask. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, give it a share out there. And thank you everyone for watching. Come back after it's finished. Get your thoughts and opinions in the not live comment section about anything we've discussed and covered. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it afterwards so we can keep the debate going. Follow us up on social media as well, please, at Flying Pig United on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and also TikTok now. Make sure you're following Flying Pig United on TikTok for more content over there. Guys, thank you for watching. Also, the website, unitedflyinghigh.com. I'll see you in a bit. But I want to say shout out to you all for being in here. Thanks once again for AR Dan for that Ron super chat there, you legend. And much love, sending love to G-Wolf and anybody else who's struggling at the moment. Philip Chapman, the special one, Devils United, Robert Xerxes, Overfloater, Magnus, Jaden Peter, Rushmano, Disco Dave, Talking You, the special one, Sukranash Pasha, Madhouse, Rushmano, thank you for the updates, you legend. Vincent Bullock, Devils United again, Kingface, Naz, It's Cam, JMEFC, and everyone else. Thank you for being a part of this community. Shout out to the Bacon Brigade. Have a great night, guys. I'll see you in a bit then. Thank you for watching, and peace. And remember, when the seagulls follow the trawler. This is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Guys, I'm sorry, I had a coughing fit there. Bye. Catch you in a bit, peeps.